EFL Gameday across 91 Radio Eastern on EFL.org.au.
It's going to be a pretty even match, and I don't know if I should do my tip already, but
now give us a tip now.
Well, Ferguson was had some hard words to me, and he told me a bit of.
And that is to the right of your radio dial as well. It's time to welcome in our pristine and very experienced commentator, play-by-play caller here on EFL Gameday. He's back for another game, and I'm sure he loves calling from a position like this out at.
Fraccio's little left foot kick was effective, and he gets it on to Allen. So Blair Allen for South Croydon, close to the boundary line, sells the dummy to Symes, gets around him, lines up the goals. In the end, he went with the left foot, and it was a minus score, first score for South Croydon. They trail by 6 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So the Roos, South Croydon one behind, and we'll get our first look at as East Ringwood will bring the ball out from defence. Beautiful day out here. Not around at an EFL game today, make sure you get out and see one because it's beautiful conditions. Matty Sharp received the ball from the kick in. The Roos are away on the outer side. Kick up towards true centering position. Mark juggled in the end by Mitch Farmer, the goal kicker. Mark's directly in front of us here in the broadcast position. His kick further up the field was very nice. The mark's been taken here by Cam Purdy. Handball's inboard to Purdy. Goes high up towards the full forward area. Renton's in position A. Dukes were presented there. Deneen's at the fall of the ball. Will he keep it in? He can't. The ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds in the right forward pocket here at East Ringwood.
The way they're structuring up there, as you said, with the three tall forwards, but three really smalls playing across half forward and then fighting back at the feet of the big players. Really interesting innovation from Bernie Deneen.
So Stevens and Renton to go at it. Renton, beautiful palm down on that occasion to Cherney. He was immediately wrapped up by the South Croydon defence. We'll see a ball up about 30 metres out from goal. Sun blaring down on East Ringwood and blaring down the eastern suburbs of Melbourne this afternoon. Hope you're enjoying this call on EFL Game Day. Stevens got the tap down, picked up though by Cherney. Kicks towards the hot spot about 30 metres out from goal. Bounce didn't quite favour his teammate. Handball comes back to Ward. Kick around the body from Zach Ward is nice. Roos off to a flyer at East Ringwood Reserve. 2-1-13 East Ringwood. South Croydon one behind. 2 goals is the margin on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Great start for the Roos, Beards.
Yeah, look, a great start there. I like the way from that boundary throw in there that they got a kick to it and they just centred the ball into the forward position there, and there was 2 of their players there. Dished it off on the handball, and of course Ward, he snapped one over his shoulder.
Just very interesting to see someone out there in the number 39 Guernsey for East Ringwood, not listed on our team sheet, so maybe a job for the boundary riders to find out who that player is.
We'll work on that. Grant Campbell, some stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap.
Clearances 4-0 the way of East Ringwood. That's been helped by Andrew Renton, who's won 4 hitouts to 2 in a row.
So 2-1-13 lead, East Ringwood leading, South Croydon 1 behind. 2 goals so far kicked by Mitch Farmer and Zach Ward for the Roos. Pretty much done all of the attacking so far, about 5 minutes into the first quarter. And once again the ball to be thrown up. 12-point lead for East Ringwood in this must-win game for the Roos. Hasn't been the start to the season that they were hoping for. And as we heard you mention, Frost, the earlier uncharacteristic start for East Ringwood. Generally they have in recent years always started the year well, sometimes fallen in a bit of a hole at the further the years progressed. Spearing kick, that was a great pass, and some good footy from South Croydon once again with Crow taking the mark. So James Crow normally wears the number 15. The 19 on today. They're not easy to read, Ben, those black numbers on the orange
From
jumper.
a distance, they're a little difficult, Bradley, yes.
Just a fraction. So James Crow walks in. Very deliberate approach. Fires at the goals, and the kick looked good off the boot, but it just trailed off towards the end, smacked into the goalpost, and another minor score on the board for South Croydon. Behind there to James Crowell as the Bulldogs are 2 behind. East Ringwood 2-1-13 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
It's only early days, but East Ringwood, their structures look much better than what South Croydon do.
The Roos bring it in. It's a nice kick as well. Bernie Deneen marks in half back, and they're away through the middle of the corridor. High kick goes up towards half forward. Sharp's in position A. Blocks the sun from his sight there. Moves it on quickly. They've worked this very nicely, the Roos, and they've got a mark in the right forward pocket, and they can go back and try to put through their third. Played on quickly. McGuinness takes the mark about 30 metres out, directly in front. And he'll look to put through East Ringwood's third goal for the day. They've started well.
That's how you take the ball coast to coast there. East Ringwood, they looked to play on it every opportunity. They were able to hit up a target inside forward 50, then found 2 extra targets in better positions. So really clean ball movement there from the Roos, and Bernie Deneen getting involved there, really asserting his authority.
Andrew McGuinness from 30 metres out, directly in front, a little off to the right, and it stays right. And the Roos get another behind on the board. They go on to 2-14. I think that should be South Croydon 1-1-7 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. This is EFL Gameday on 98.1 FM and EFL.org.au.
Spot on, Benny. 7-point lead as Osborne brings the ball back in. Safe kick this time, but low risk, low reward option, kicking to the back pocket there, and they're still deep in their defensive area. Osborne very short, careful kick, and he just nudged it there to Troutman. Troutman's kick set his teammate a hard task, carried over the head. Handball shot out to Marshall. Now it's with Troutman through some heavy traffic. Just kept his head nicely. The Bulldogs bring it up towards the wing position. East Ringwood make the steal though. Spearing kick to Farmer. Good hands there from Trent Farmer. Wheels around, up and under, kick to full forward. Off the pack to the mystery man who races in and kicks the goal for East Ringwood. And the Roos get their third on the board. 3-1-19. South Croydon 1-1-7 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's cross down to our Kira Urgent Care Boundary Riders.
Just on cue, boys. Jaden Batterglen was the man who scored that goal. He's transferred from the number 29 to the number 39 Guernsey, and he's also a man who's elevated himself up from the under-19s into the senior side.
That was very good play then by East Ringwood. When South Croydon were trying to come out of defence, they looked downfield and all they could see was Andrew Renton there, right across the centre of the ground. So they had to chip the ball around and eventually they turned it over.
Hope you're enjoying the coverage here on EFL Game Day. It's the Roos who've got the fast start. They're 3 goals, leading South Croydon 1 goal. Free kick will go to the Dogs in the middle. What a Nick Molnar. He's in the middle of East Ringwood Reserve. Calls for a few leads now. He's got a beauty out wide. It's not a good kick though. The mark's been taken in the end by Adam Gibson, left half back. He moves it on quickly. Got a player over the head. Mark's been taken. They'll move it on. A hand pass came from Matthews. He gets it back now. Van Ruin was under a lot of pressure from the Matthews hand pass. McIntosh on hands and knees. He's wrapped up by South Croydon. They'd stuffed that one up.
It was very good by South Croydon. They just kept pressure on the ball carry and eventually they turned it over, East Ringwood.
So Rucks will go at it now. It'll be Fulton against Renton. Fulton almost gave away a free kick. A non-officiating umpire saw it, and East Ringwood won't be allowed the advantage, but Renton will be able to get the free kick. True settling position on the outer side. East Ringwood 3-1-3-2. That should be 3-2-20. Grant Campbell, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, and South Croydon are 2 behinds.
Thank you very much to Grant Campbell and the Choose Tap Stats chair as it comes down. Dogs have it on the outer side. Handball came out that time from Humphrey. He works it out. They've got numbers on the outer side, but they're under a lot of pressure at the moment. The Dogs all through the hands on that occasion to Ferraccio. East Ringwood applying very good defensive pressure. Cox got a little hand pass over the top under a lot of pressure at the moment. The South Croydon defence. Osborne had it stolen away from him. Just persistent work, and Purdy kicks the goal right in his defensive goal square. That is forward pressure at its absolute best. Roos go on to 4-2-26. South Croydon 2 behinds on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Unbelievable forward pressure on that occasion by the Roos.
Yeah, relentless. They just refused to let South Croydon break from that last line of defence and just kept hitting them hard with tackles. Eventually it fell into the East Ringwood players' hands and they get reward for effort. They get a goal on the board from their ability and their willingness to provide that really hard work to lock the ball deep in their forward 50.
Well, that was just great footy from East Ringwood, and absolute reward for their perseverance and tenacity as Deneen through the middle of the ground bursts clear, sends it forward for the Roos, carries over the head there of Renton and through for a minor score. So East Ringwood move on to, they're up to 4 goals now, of course, 4-3-27. South Croydon 2 behinds as Osborne brings the ball back in, goes very short once again to Dan King. Dangerous kick. It was made dangerous by Del Judas, who spilled the pretty simple mark. Under pressure now, quick kick came out from Farmer, looks for Renton at full forward. McGuinness tries to gather the ball in, does so now, has time, lines up the goal, and gee, made that look easy. Andrew McGuinness, he showed wonderful composure, kept his balance while his opponent went to ground, and then just slotted it through as if it was like shelling peas, Frosty. He made it look as simple as you can imagine.
Well, yeah, I think you just described it exactly. He actually had time to sum up the situation then, look inboard, see there were no options there, and decide, well, I'm going to try and bend this through on the outside of the right boot, and was able to do it beautifully. And that's exactly what he was trying to do. And that's a fantastic play. A contender for next week's EFL TV Play of the Week.
I knew it was inevitable that you would bring that one up, Frosty, but that is an absolute beauty from Andrew McGuinness, who I know the Roos very, very happy that he's back wearing East Ringwood colours. I'm pretty sure a best and fairest winner at the club in previous years. He is an absolute star. Speaking of star, this is a star start by the East Ringwood Footy Club. 5-2-32 to South Croydon, 2 behinds. The Dogs under enormous pressure at the moment, and they will be called for a free kick against here, holding the ball. And it will go the way of Scotty Demetrio in East Ringwood colours this year. Demetrio to the middle, goes out wide in front of the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's a good kick as well. Mark taken by Matthews, goes back to go forward. The Roos thump it inside 50. McGuinness is willing to fall the ball here, just over his head. Comes to ground now. Running over the ball there was Cam Purdy. Deneen's in there as well as Evan Fadonis, my apologies. And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Right forward pocket. Ball will be tossed back in. Stay tuned right throughout the day here on EFL Game Day for all the around the ground scores. You can follow the scores on your mobile device as well through m.efl.org.au or Twitter @footyefl. Ball came to the ground. Cherney just fell in his hands. Wasn't able to quite take it cleanly though. The Dogs try to will themselves out of this one, but they'll thump it back inside. Forward 50 will the Roos. Demetrio's kick inside forward 50 only as far as the Dog defence. They bring it out towards a 3-on-1 situation though. That was in favour of the Roos. Mark taken off to Gibson this way then that way. Then straight back to the Dogs. And they'll have a position thumped away from here on that occasion by Joel Perry. Ranked number 8, I think, in Frosty's top 50 this year, Joel Perry. He's got the job on Grattan Stevens today. Ball over the boundary line and out of bounds right in front of us here in the broadcast position.
And what Damien Franken's done, he's dropped Blair Allen down there in the hole in front of the big tall forwards there, trying to stem the flow.
Well, ball comes to ground now. Battagleen overran the footy. In front of it, here's Mallison. He was held to him.
Boundary. And
we'll see a ball up right in front of us here, or a free kick. No, ball up. Across down boundary side very shortly. Umpire Jack Murphy throws it up. Renton, beautiful tap down. But umpire's pulled out a free kick and it's going to go the way of Andrew Renton, who was dealt with after he tapped that ball down. That was against Jacob Fulton on that occasion. So Renton had a great start to the year. He's got options inboard, decides to go short. Dangerous kick because the wind really took that one. And the Dogs have the numbers on the outer side here. Del Judas takes the mark. Playing against his old side. Used to play in the East Ringwood under-19s, Del Judas. He won't like that kick though. Somehow works for the Dogs. It'll be chopped off though. They're on fire at the moment. Cherney over around the football. Applies the tackle. Comes to ground now. Ward picks it up. Couldn't quite dispose of it cleanly, and after all that, we'll see a boundary thrown right in front of the East Ringwood coaching box. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, East Ringwood 5-2-32, South Croydon 2 behinds here at East Ringwood Reserve on EFL Game Day.
Something that is evident really early on is the strength that the East Ringwood players have over the ball and able to break tackles and bring their South Croydon teammates down, counterparts down, and when they're tackling them, and it's really evident the difference between the two teams in the way they're able to break or get caught in tackles.
And the pressure is just absolutely relentless. Every time the Bulldogs have the ball, trying to clear the area, they just can't get boots of ball on most occasions. And East Ringwood, their tenacity in this first quarter has been fantastic. Can they sustain it? That's going to be the question. As Renton, long shot at the goal, falls just short. Came off hands, but it was through for a minor score. And let's cross down to our boundary riders, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
And boys, just from ground level, you can feel the immense pressure and intensity that the Roos are applying, and South Croydon really seem to be struggling to contend with it, and they appear rattled at the moment.
So Glenn Strawn to bring the ball back in for the Bulldogs. Ben Osborne, for the moment, has been relieved of the kicking in duties. Handball over the top from Fulton. Dangerous again under pressure, the Bulldogs coming through the middle. Bursting clear was Farrell. Handball into open space. Well played there. Was by Mallison. Little handball over the top. And Robbie Mallison was just dumped after he got rid of the ball, so he gets the free kick. He's dangerous goal sneak, Robbie Mallison. Always seems to conjure up a pretty special goal most weeks. That's not his best effort though, really put himself under a lot of pressure, and his kick in the end was...
Behinds. They're all over it at the moment, the Roos. They've started very, very well. Ball comes down. We'll have another stalemate as Glenn Strawn's wrapped up for the Dogs. This is EFL Gameday, 98.1 FM and EFL.org.au. Coming over the top there was Millard. Surely a high tackle going against the Dogs on that occasion. It will be going the way of the Roos. They go up towards the half-forward flank. Race is on over the footy. That time was Scotty Demetrio. Did well to win the footy in the end. And he's able to hold the ball up when he was probably outnumbered with Dogs' opponents. Ball up, Lacour now. Fulton will go up uncontested. Tapped it down nicely. Handball came out from Del Judas. Kick was smothered, but it still might work out okay for the Dogs. Daniel King goes up towards the half-forward area, but they've got numbers to the Roos. McIntosh got a hand pass back to Gibson. He's got numbers on the outer side, and they'll use it now. Perry running hard off half-back. He'll receive the ball and go along the outer wing. It's a good kick as well. Farmer's been everywhere in this term. Off to the run of his coach. Deneen towards half-forward. Del Judas getting back in the hole. And for the Dogs, Del Judas will clear.
Does indeed. Dishes off the handball, and the Bulldogs come out of defence through the middle. Charging forward was Strawn. Strawn's long searching left foot kick. It was just off target. And a minor score there for South Croydon as they move on to 4 behinds, and East Ringwood are 5-32 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Strawn, he's a really damaging kick on the run. In the end, just didn't quite have the accuracy, didn't miss by much. South Croydon just put any scoreboard pressure on so far as McGuinness attempted the mark and was spoiled from behind.
A real contrast of both teams coming out of defence as well. East Ringwood able to hit up a target every time in space, and the South Croydon forwards just need to be a lot more switched on and make sure that they're really picking up their man and not allowing them that space.
Well, this kick is indeed into open space, although charging out at it from the bench was Del Judas. Right place, right time for him. Got it to Mallison under pressure. Sharp quickly gets the kick away for East Ringwood, and it bounces right on the boundary line. The perfect kick to touch in rugby parlance by Matt Sharp, and result
comes out now to Fayedonis, who just kicked the goal. He's got a man in board. He uses Demetrio back to Fayedonis, got the 1-2 this way then that way. He ran into a wall of Dogs, and in the end Jack Murphy said holding the ball, the Dogs will be paid the advantage as well. Comes out David King out wide. He's got a player at right half back, still in his own defensive 50 though. Mark taken here by Troutman. He tries to get around his opponent, did well in the end, along the centre wing position, but straight down the throat of Matthew Sharp. He's got the ball in the middle of East Ringwood Reserve. He's got a player on the outer side. Matthews can get and go. Got a hand pass off to Millard. Spears the ball inside 50. Beautiful kick. Farmer. In fact, it's Purdy, my apologies, who takes the mark. Pinpoint precision that time from that man in Blaha. I think it was off half back. And mark's been taken by Purdy. He'll kick for goal from about 15 metres out, 45-degree angle. Won't have much. There's a little bit of wind. I think a bit of a right to left looking from our position, or the other way. Bruce Press is telling me. He starts at left. It didn't really matter which way the wind went because there was a shank of a kick in the end, and I think the Dogs will be happy to rush that through for another minor score. So going by Grant Campbell here, the score is 6-5-41 to South Croydon, 4 behinds, and we're deep into the first term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So perhaps not only do the players not listen to Ray's rant, perhaps the scoreboard attendants out here at East Ringwood don't either.
Thanks very much, Peter. What Damien Frankenstein done? He's put that extra man back in the hole, but I don't think it's working because the East Ringwood forwards are not leading, and of course when they come into the forward line, East Ringwood, they're just going straight over the top of the man in the hole, so he's playing no part whatsoever in defending.
Kick there was intended for Danny King, but it was put out on the full, and Tony Van Ruyen takes the resulting free kick. Minor score. East Ringwood move on to 6-7-43. South Croydon 4 behinds. Cross boundary side shortly. Just watch Osborne bring the ball back in, and the mark, simple mark, dropped there by Marshall. Gee, they are as nervous as you can imagine in defence today, the Bulldogs. They've coughed it up again. Van Rooyen's handball was a bit of up and under, spilled out to Cherney, and Cherney's quick kick around the corner under plenty of pressure. He was just off target then, snuck it through for a behind. But at the moment, the Bulldogs, they just cannot clear the area. We'll cross boundary side in a sec, but Bulldogs having all sorts of problems getting it out of defence. This time Osborne goes with a long option. Sharp takes possession though for the Roos. The kick into open space. Demetrio attacked the footy. Strawn hunts after it, gathers it in, but the boundary line was beckoning. Speaking of which, let's cross down to our boundary riders, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Thanks very much, Brad. East Ringwood have formed a wall across the centre line, and they're just affecting the switch too easy and utilising the space on the fat side of the ground.
Thanks to Damien Watson as the siren sounds to complete the first quarter. And what a dominant first quarter it was by the East Ringwood Football Club. I think there'd be plenty of people here who are quite stunned by what they've seen thus far. East Ringwood 6-5, or no, we think they're 6 goals, 7-43.
Oh no, I think they did correct it. I think they corrected it, Soupy. 6-5, Brad, I should say. 6-5-41 to South Croydon. 4 behinds. No matter what the score, which way you think the technicalities of the scores, it's been an East Ringwood dominated first term out here at East Ringwood Reserve. We're going to take our first break here on EFL Game Day. It's the Roos by 37 points. We'll have a few other scores.
It was Richmond who kicked away well. Richmond 8-2-50, leading Port Adelaide 2-1-13. Goal kickers for Richmond, Rewalt has 3 and 1 each to King and Nahas. And for Port Adelaide, Gray and Schultz have 1 each. And it's currently the 10-minute mark of the second quarter, and Richmond 8-4-50 to lead Port Adelaide 2-4-16. So Richmond well on their way there. There's up the gap between Brisbane and the West Coast Eagles, and it's the 24-minute mark of the first quarter, and it's West Coast Eagles 4-26, leading Brisbane 2 goals straight, 12 points. And also another game this afternoon. It's a twilight game at Etihad Stadium, and that gets underway at 4:40, and that's between the Western Bulldogs and North Melbourne, and we'll give you scores of that game when that starts as well. TNB Discount Window Warehouse. Desperately need budget-friendly windows? Visit TNB Discount Window Warehouse. We'll have the right solution for you. TNB has new and surplus windows that suit any budget needs, and you'll still have spare change to finish off your renovations. Visit TNB's new superstore at Unit 4, 116 to 118 Canterbury Road at Hillside, or phone them on 1300 075 038. 1300 075 038. TNB Discount Window Warehouse, part of the AW Window Transport Group. Your number one in window transport.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public holidays with a car tag. So, with the money you'll save, you'll have enough.
Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week. And I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them.
Get a Reese tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots.
Program sponsor.
For the best EFL rap on radio, don't miss Akira EFL Sunday from 10 till 12 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern. Ben Warren-Smith and the team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talk to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98.1 Radio Eastern. For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continuing.
Working on for a few weeks, and with a young group it just does take a while, but I think the scoreboard is just a byproduct of that work that they did in the forward. Yeah, they were great.
And the players are linking up well in the centre and utilising the switch effectively. Is that how you saw the first term?
Yeah, we used the ball pretty well, and I think we used the guys running past and rewarded the runners. So, yeah, the result's the result because of the hard work they're putting in.
Thanks very much, Greg.
Thank you.
Great work there, Damien Watson. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Before we get stuck into the call, Grant Campbell, some stats that mattered from that first term, please.
The main ones that led to East Ringwood's lead: centre clearances 5-2 in their favour, kicks 49 to 27, inside 50s 16 to 5, and the marks inside 50s 5-1. Interesting that the handballs, South Croydon did win 33-31, so perhaps they're over handballing at times, getting themselves in trouble, rather than East Ringwood, who is tending to move the ball a bit quicker and getting some more kicks.
Well, they're not clean at the moment, are South Croydon. Speaking of clean, though, here's Brad Henderson on EFL Game Day.
South Croydon this quarter kicking to the Mount Dandenong Road end of the ground. East Ringwood to the cricket nets end of East Ringwood Reserve. Second quarter underway, and it's out on this outer wing at the moment. No one can really get a clean possession. A lot of players over the footy, and I think there's no effort, I guess, from South Croydon, but it wasn't really lack of effort that much in that first quarter. It was more lack of execution and inability to hit targets under pressure. They just couldn't cope with the pressure that East Ringwood put on them as Ward takes possession. Little handball over the top. Battergleen all on his own. Races into his second goal of the day, and he has booted his second. What a start to the second term for East Ringwood. Shades of that first quarter. More of the same as Jaden Battergleen gets his second goal. And East Ringwood move on to 7-7-49. South Croydon 4 behinds on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as Ray Baird. That was great footy from East Ringwood. South Croydon again struggling to stop them at the moment.
Yeah, look, that was great persistence then by East Ringwood, and we hope that's not going to be the pattern of this quarter, because otherwise it's going to be a blowout. They're just all over the top of them at the moment, and you look around the ground, the East Ringwood side are taller all over the ground than what the South Croydon side is.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Andy?
Yes, hearing Damien Franken speak, he was not a happy boy. He really wanted the work rate to lift. He wanted some passion shown for the jumper, albeit the orange one that they're wearing. A big focus also was just being first to the footy. They just want to peg this score back partially and just get themselves back in the game.
Great work there, Andy Parlachi, all thanks to Akira Urgent Care in the South Croydon huddle. High kick up towards half forward. Battergleen couldn't quite take the mark. Ball comes to ground. Nicely done by Faye Donis. Went back to go forward. Picked up here by... Went inboard to Renton on hands and at his tippy toes there, took the mark, and that's a long way down as well as Renton goes inside 50. Good lead as well, and the Roos have got another kick for goal inside forward 50, and Cam Purdy's taken the mark. He'll go back and look to put through his second goal.
They've just lost all their structure at the moment, South Croydon. East Ringwood leaving a lot of space in front of their forwards, able to lead out uncontested, and when South Croydon get the ball, it's the perceived pressure that's causing the turnover.
Ball comes in now. Purdy's kick on the way. Sneaks home for another goal. He's got 2. And it is a Roo fiesta at the moment out here at East Ringwood Reserve. Purdy with 2. Battergleen with 2. East Ringwood with 8. 8-7-55 the Roos.
That contested pressure.
Ferraccio takes the mark this time. His handball put Mallison under a bit of pressure. Thumped forward there by King. That too was a pressured kick. Perry working hard on hands and knees. Casting the roll of the rover for a moment. And another ball up right on the 50-metre arc for South Croydon.
Just some other scores. Brad Sylvan 6-4-40 lead Park Orchards 3-7-25 at quarter time.
We'll cross down to our boundary riders in just a moment. Now the kick up towards the wing, intercepted by Stevens. Nice mark though by Big Andrew Renton, just drifting back and pouching the mark. Weighs up his options, elects to go very short to McGuinness. McGuinness just looks very classy every time he gets the footy. He's a good size too. Looks a player as McIntosh sends it forward. And not his best effort that time, Alex McIntosh. The mark taken defensively by Del Judas. Del Judas wants to swing the play out towards this broadcast side of the ground. Cherney to compete with Stevens, and the ball drifts over the back of the pack, over the boundary line for a throw-in as we cross to our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders.
As if it couldn't get any worse for South Croydon, confirmation of that injury in the first quarter. Liam Fitzgerald out for the rest of the game with a torn right hamstring, so it seems.
Not good for the South Croydon side. Nothing going right for them at the moment. They're down by 51 points, and we're 5.5 minutes into the second term here on EFL Game Day. Free kick's being paid against Andrew McGuinness, I think, for a bit of back chat.
It was against Cherney. It was in the push and shove between Cherney and Dan King, and as far as I could tell, they were pushing and shoving each other, and the umpire was like, just to stop it, he plucked out a free, which really could have gone either way.
Well, King goes up towards the half-forward line, normally wearing number 1 Guernsey, but got the 26 in the GWS jumper today is Dan King. The ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds, 45 metres out from the South Croydon goal. They're yet to kick a major so far in this term and the whole game. Just around the grounds, Baronia 3-5-23 led the Glen Waverley Hawks 1 behind, and Forest Hill 32 lead Ferntree Gully 14 at the moment. So some interesting scores in Division 4 so far as the ball that's a good looking kick towards Crowell, playing in front. East Ringwood almost able to judge the mark. They might be able to work it out here through McIntosh. Comes now an opportunity for Cox, kick around the body through the hands of an a South Croydon player there in Ferraccio, and East Ringwood will look to rebound off half back. Perry got it to his coach and Deneen. His kick was smothered off the boot, but he'll get a second chance at it. He got a little hand pass over the top to Symes. Symes along, true centre wing on that outer side towards a 2-on-2 contest. Ball will be won here by the Dogs. They go inboard and find Molnar, the only South Croydon player who's got his original blue, white and red jumper. He's wearing that in the GWS colours today. As a kick from Strawn up towards full forward. Which way will it bounce? Surely a bit of luck for the Dogs? No, not on this occasion. It doesn't even register a score. It bounced beautifully for Matt Sharp in the left behind line. He's got Andrew Renton at left half back. He takes the mark now and he's got McGuinness further afield. Looks classy, McGuinness. That's a classy mark. He'll look to play on now of half back. He's got players at true centre half back. He uses that player now. Mark taken by Symes. McIntosh, a little bit hot for him was the hand pass on that occasion. He'll have to go back and try and get it, but he's under a lot of pressure from the South Croydon forwards here. Handball came out on that occasion by Osborne. Still with the opportunity here, the Dogs. Van Ruin's got the ball on the outer side now. Nice little hand pass over the top, a little bit too hot on that occasion. Picked up by Humphrey. Slams it up towards right half forward here. Which way will it bounce? Not accommodatingly here for McIntosh. It went over his head though. Taken here by Blaha. He's got a man on the outer side. Perry couldn't quite judge it correctly. He's got a player on the outer side though. Picks it up and kicks to that man in Gibson. Gibson's got a man further on the field, right in front of us here in the broadcast position. Evan Theodonis, this way than that way. Goes inboard, found Sharp. He's got a lot of players ahead of him though of both colours. He gets a hand pass off to Gibson, who's had the footy on a string today. High kick towards full forward. Purdy's there. Renton was there. Renton wanted a free kick. Ball comes to ground. Hand pass came out for the Dogs on that occasion, and they're away off half back.
Great call, Benny, as out of defence the Bulldogs bring it up towards the wing. They surge forward now.
So Matthews is about directly in front. He'll kick from 45 metres out. And South Croydon finally get some joy. They get their first goal on the board. East Ringwood can deliver another nail into the coffin. Matthews directly in front, played all 3 games. He gets a hand pass off to Perry. Doesn't get an opportunity to kick a goal very often, Joel Perry. He stuffed it up on that occasion. Gibson got a hand pass back to Van Ruin. They worked their way back to Blaha. Now back to Gibson. His kick was smothered off the boot. And South Croydon might have an opportunity here. Dan King got a little hand pass over the top. He's got players in support. Ends up with Strawn. He's got a paddock in front of him, Strawn. Crowell's on the lead. Takes it now. He's got an open goal square. Has to kick for goal here, James Crowell. Instead does the team thing. Put it towards the advantage of Blair Allen. Got a horrible bounce. Got a horrible bounce. And Symes takes the ball. He got it over the top to Bernie Deneen, who's running hard on that outer side. Further afield, finds Cam Purdy at right half forward. He's got a few players in front of him now. Brings it inboard. Mark taken here by Scotty Demetrio. About 90 metres out from goal still, Scotty. He's called the play on now. Kick was smothered off the boot. How many smothered in the past 5 minutes? Ball now ends up in the hands of McGuinness. Bernie Deneen's kept on running here. Receives it now at right half forward. This way then that way. Bernie testing the knee out beautifully. He comes through with the goods. A high kick up towards Renton. Strong jukes from the big East Ringwood ruckman. And he'll go back 15 metres out directly in front and look to put through East Ringwood's 9th goal.
Those big guys, they don't get any shorter as the game goes on.
Renton just too big and too strong there, and it's a really good game plan they've got. They put the ball high to big marking forwards, and it's really exploiting South Croydon, and they don't really have an answer to this at the moment.
Renton directly in front. He's booted 5 goals for the year to date. This will be for goal number 6 for 2013. Makes no mistake from directly in front. And East Ringwood going to 9-7-61. Leading South Croydon 1-4-10, just over 12 minutes gone here in the second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. The Roos have almost got this one sewn up already, gentlemen.
It's going to be hard to come back from South Croydon for here, but they really need to just keep composed. Every time they look to get the ball out in space, they're very hesitant, and that's come from the pressure that East Ringwood have put on them. And when you set the tone early in a game with really fierce tackling like East Ringwood did, it gets the opposition looking over their shoulders, waiting for that tackle to come.
Started looking at the South Croydon previous passage of play when they were going forward, when Blair Allen got that bad bounce. Ferraccio really just had to take some ownership and responsibility for the team and go back and kick that goal. And I think it's the mental battle that's really getting to the Dogs thus far.
Well, a kick around the bodies, very nice with the boot from Farmer. South Croydon's kick in from Dan King was intercepted by McGuinness, who did the hard work there, and Farmer just picked up the scraps in the end and kicked his second goal. And East Ringwood are running all over the Dogs this afternoon. South Croydon are 1-4-10 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. In the second term, we've played 14.5 minutes, and East Ringwood have kicked their 10th goal for the game. 10-7-67, I think, is the score, but I'll confirm that in the tick beds.
He's looked really damaging down there, really dangerous down there, Mitch Farmer, and really showing signs that he could be a better player than his older brother Trent is at Ringwood.
Grant Campbell, some stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap.
Well, just East Ringwood's getting a lot more of it. Kicks 36-20 and handballs 25-13.
Well, they're both super talents, that is for sure, Frosty. It's always hard to compare, of course, with Trent playing in a Division 3 competition and Mitch here in the Premier competition, Division 1. But they're certainly both exciting players. Out of the middle. Left foot kick, beautiful pass there by Coughlin. And the Bulldogs are playing better in this second quarter, but they still certainly can't keep in touch with the opposition.
Got it at right half forward. McGuinness goes out wide, and he's got a player on the outer side. Roos lead this one by 48. It's Cherney on the outer side. Thanks, Brad. He goes inboard. Dangerous kick for McGuinness, but he juggled it nicely. Tried to claim the mark. Umpire said play on, was touched off the boot. McGuinness did well in the end. Got it off to Joel Perry. Spears the ball inside 50. It's a beautiful kick as well. Mark almost taken on that occasion by Millard. Comes to ground. Battagleen around the body for goal number 3. Just off to the right-hand side. Through for a minor score. East Ringwood 10-9-69. South Croydon 2-4-16. Almost 18 minutes gone here in the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's cross to Victoria, who's been working feverishly around the grounds. Victoria, let's hear some of those around the ground scores.
All right, some Division 1 scores from quarter time. Vermont have a 17-point lead over Blackburn, 4-3-27 to 1-4-10. Baldwin have a 22-point lead over East Burwood, 4-1-25 to 0-3-3. Norwood have a 9-point lead over Knox, 4-3-27 to 3-0-18. And Scoresby have a 4-point lead over Rowville, 2-12 to 1-8.
Great work there, Victoria around the grounds. Brad Henderson, South Croydon are coming up with a good shot here.
Yeah, Blair Allen racing into an open goal. His second of the quarter would have been his second in the space of a couple of minutes, but it just off target. Nothing really working out for South Croydon at the moment. That was a better build-up from them, but Blair Allen just couldn't quite finish off the work. He's got 1 goal 2 today as the Roos come out of defence. Perry. Joel Perry, long kick, carried over the head of Theodonis. Strong tackle applied on descent. Demetrio breaks through the attempted tackle of Strawn, but Demetrio's kick falls short, and it's marked offensively there by Humphrey. First time we've called him today. A 25-metre penalty goes the way of Ryan Humphrey as well. Humphrey, little handball. It will come back to Ryan Humphrey. The umpire very meticulous in the way he wants it to be played out. And there's another free kick, up half forward. The East Ringwood faithful a bit incredulous at a couple of the decisions. Looks like it's Allen once again. Very busy in this second quarter. Gave it off to Strawn. Long thumping kick, but a minor score. And South Croydon, again, Frosty, no real game plan, is there? There's no system at all at the moment, Ray. It's just like that was a long shot at goal. It was like a Hail Mary virtually in basketball terms.
You're dead right, Brett. There's no system whatsoever. You know, completely different to East Ringwood. And look, I think that South Croydon, they've got to just go back playing man on man and just see what happens, because the way they're going at the moment, they're going to get well and truly beaten.
Perry working nicely in tandem with Darcy Powell on that occasion. Gibson had a lot of the footy so far in this game. Beautiful kick in board to Fayadonis. He's got under a little bit of pressure here. Evan Fayadonis broke the tackle nicely. Got it off to Sharp. They're running hard here are the Roos. Kick inside 50 is an absolute beauty on that occasion. And the mark's been taken by Millard. It's a great kick by Aaron Hoare on that occasion to find Millard in the left forward pocket from about 40 metres out. On a tight angle, he'll go back and look to put through the Roos' 11th goal.
One of the problems away from their opponents.
Millard's kick on goal looks a little off to the right and it squeezes in for a minus score. So East Ringwood 10-10-70, South Croydon 2-6-18 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 21 minutes gone. Victoria, let's hear some scores in Division 2 at quarter time, please.
All right, North Ringwood have a 42-point lead over Bayswater, 6-7-43 to 0-1-1. Donvale have a 13-point lead over Waverley Blues, 2-3-15 to 0-2-2. Montrose have a 27-point lead over Croydon, 7-4-46 to 3-1-19. Mooroolbark have a 28-point lead over Upper Fentree-Gully, 7-2-44 to 2-4-16. And Mulgrave have a massive 45-point lead over Doncaster East, 7-5-47 to 0-2-2.
Thank you, Victoria, as the minus score was kicked there by Aaron Hoare. Another behind added to the this very large East Ringwood score that just keeps building. Out of defence, dangerous kick. It was intended for Strawn, but Van Rooyen filled in the hole and took the mark. And that was poor execution, but also such a ambitious kick.
If you go inboard, Brad, you've got to hit your target on the chest. You can't give the ball airtime for the...
Van Rooyen's kick, just off target, minus score. And Tony Van Rooyen hasn't really hit the scoreboard thus far today, until now, with the minus score there. And East Ringwood peppering the goals at the moment on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They just keep building that lead as Osborne brings the ball back in, Benny.
It was a poor kick as well, and Van Rooyen, take two, couldn't quite get it. They've got numbers in the goal square here to the Roos, but Ward's tackle was a little zealous on that occasion, and Osborne will have another shot at kicking out as a poor kick. Well, it was actually a good kick, but Grattan Stevens just didn't talk with his teammate and dropped the simple chest mark in the end. They'll look to bring it out here, though, will the Dogs. Short ball inboard, just goes over the head of his teammate, straight into the hands of Blaha, was held without the football. Advantage will be paid, will it? Van Rooyen's hand pass missed Miller, but he might be able to make up for it here. Goes back to Perry, spears the ball inside 50, makes great decisions, Perry. That kick was good for Fayadonis, just over his head on that occasion. South Croydon looked to bring it out on the outer side. Bounce important. Bounce works out okay in the end for Cox on that outer side. A Leah Young Gun nomination in round one. Chips it further afield. Crowds on a long lead in front of McIntosh. Takes the mark right in front of the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, which reads East Ringwood having a 54-point lead over the Dogs. Crowd goes back now, inboard to bad kick again. So many turnovers from the Dogs at the moment. Battagleen worked nicely in tandem with a teammate there. Bernie Deneen has had no one on him all day. He picks the ball up now and spears the ball inside towards three South Croydon players. Nice decision there, Bernie. Handball comes out though.
Free kick goes to the Bulldogs. And nothing much on to kick to. In the end, finally, I think it's Marshall there who had the kick. He looked for his teammate in Del Judas. And he went sideways to a contest, which there's nothing to be gained by that. Why not go long and kick it long and forward to a contest if you have to? Let's cross to our Kira Urgent Care Boundary Riders.
Yeah, the warm conditions are beginning to have a detrimental effect on players from both sides, with hydration in full supply on the interchange bench.
Thanks, Damien, as McGuinness got it from Powell. Oh, nice. Lovely kick. Gee, he looks the class of the field out there today, Andrew McGuinness, as Cam Purdy takes the mark. Will go back and line up for his second goal of the day. What, is it second or third coming up?
This will be his third goal if he kicks this.
So Cam Purdy, 2 goals already today, a kick after the siren, and he's kicked it across the face of goal. Won't trouble the scorers, but East Ringwood, what a first half by them. 10 goals, 12-72. South Croydon, 2 goals, 6-18 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Purdy and Battagleen each have 2 goals. So too does Trent Farmer.
Mitch.
Sorry, Mitch Farmer for East Ringwood. And Frosty at the moment, you'd think, like, you wouldn't believe this is a team who hasn't won a game so far this year in East Ringwood. Ray, East Ringwood haven't won a game this year. South Croydon, they've won 2 matches against some decent opposition, but the Bulldogs, they're having an absolute nightmare. It's like a bad dream for them so far.
Yeah, look, the Bulldogs, they're having a real shocker. Nothing's going right for them. But look, I just think for them to get back into the game, they must play man on man. They must pick up their men, particularly down the back line. But just the last few minutes of that quarter there, I just felt that maybe one of the things that can get South Croydon back into this game is the overconfidence of the East Ringwood side, because there was a couple of players there, took on the contest, they got through that one and they took on a second contest and got caught out. So East Ringwood's got to be very careful they don't get overconfident.
Let's quickly cross down to Damien Watson, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Just quickly, Bernie, how did you analyse that first half? You must be pleased with the 9-goal lead.
Yeah, certainly. Look, I thought our pressure, particularly our forward pressure, was fantastic. The things we focused on being really clean and just trying to run over them. And in the past, when we've got on top of an opposition, we've probably just sort of glided a little bit. And
.org.au to access fixtures, results and ladders for all EFL grades. You can also receive live around-the-ground scores every Saturday afternoon right from the palm of your hand. And contribute to the mighty EFL forum while you're online. Download the EFL mobile web app to go live and local for your footy this season, right from the palm of your hand.
Radio Eastern 98.1 at 10 after 3. This is Barry Collins back here in the studio. It's half time between East Ringwood and South Croydon. We'll be back there very shortly. But first of all, let's check some AFL scores and a half-time score over there at Amy's Stadium this afternoon between Port Adelaide and Richmond. And certainly Richmond have jumped out of the blocks at half-time. It's Richmond 11-5-71, 42 points leaders over Port Adelaide, 4-5-29. Major goal kickers for Richmond. Jack Rewell has 4 at half-time, 1 each to King and Knights. And for Port Adelaide, Gray, Monfries and Moore have 1 each. So a 42-point lead to Richmond at half-time. The other game this afternoon is up at the Gabba between Brisbane and the West Coast Eagles. It's currently the 21-minute mark of the second quarter. And a very close game indeed, relatively speaking. West Coast Eagles 7-2-44 lead Brisbane 5-2-32. And the major goal kickers for Richmond, for Brisbane, Golby 2, McGrath 1, Redden 1, and Buick 1. And for the West Coast Eagles, Shepherd 2, Kennedy also has 2, and 1 to Shuey. And the other game this afternoon is between the Western Bulldogs and North Melbourne, and that gets underway at 4:40 p.m. at Etihad Stadium. Now, desperately need budget-friendly windows? Visit T&B Discount Window Warehouse. We'll have the right solution for you. T&B has new and surplus windows to suit any budget needs, and you still have spare change to finish off your renovations. Visit T&B's new superstore at Unit 4 to 118 Canterbury Road in Kilsyth, and you can phone them on 1300 075 038. That's 1300 075 038. T&B Discount Window Warehouse, part of the AW Window Transport Group, your number one in window transport.
For all things EFL, The Huddle.
Good evening, Eastern Football League lovers. One of the punishments is you've got to get a spray tan the Friday night before a game.
Oh, nice.
Wash all the jumpers. And of course, he is Glenn Archer, and welcome to the program tonight. G'day, Glenn.
G'day, guys. How you going?
If it was up to Dino, he's winning the league, DNF, our BNF.
How much longer we've got to see Stewie Wine going around in the Eastern Football League?
Probably about 1 quarter.
6 p.m. every Wednesday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
Had an accident on the field? Head straight to Ikira Urgent Care for immediate medical treatment, and you won't have to wait. For a maximum of $75, we'll treat your broken bones, sprains, strains, cuts, or any other game day injuries. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Ikira Urgent Care. We have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
And half-time has arrived around the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Well, certainly for us here, we seem to be a fair few minutes ahead of most other games out here at East Ringwood, and it is East Ringwood 10-12-72, leading South Croydon 2-6-18. 54 points is the margin, gentlemen and ladies. It could be certainly all over already. But let's have a look at the Pie Shed halftime show. The Pie Shed's pies are absolutely delicious, combining fresh meats and vegetables with just the right combination of herbs and spices. They have over 40 varieties of pies. The Pie Shed has a reputation second to none. Now, if your club needs pies to in their canteen, see Mark Phelan and the team at 295 Canterbury Road, Bayswater, or call 9720-7711. As I mentioned, 54 points is the margin out here at East Ringwood Reserve. So certainly some big scores going on here at East Ringwood Reserve. But let's have a look at some of the other games around the EFL quickly, particularly in Division 1. We're about to talk to Clint Stanaway. Blackburn at quarter time trailed Vermont by 17 points. Baldwin led East Burwood by 22 points. And Norwood led Knox by 9 points. And Scoresby led Roeville by 4 points. So that was in Division 1. In Division 2, North Ringwood led Bayswater by 42 points. Donvale led the Waverley Blues by 13 points. Montrose led Croydon 46-19, so that's 27 points. Murrelbach 44, leading Upper Ferntree Gully by 28 points, I should say. Mulgrave are killing Doncaster East at the moment, 47-2, so 45-point lead there to Mulgrave. In Division 3, Doncaster only lead by 5 points against Churnside Park. They're putting up a bit of a fight. Baronia 23, leading Glen Waverley 1. Heathmont trail Wantana South by 13 points. Other scores in Division 3, Ringwood lead Warrandyte by 40 points. Templestowe by points. The Basin by 12 points over Mitcham. In Division 4, Kilsyth lead South Belgrave by 25 points. Forest Hill 32 lead Ferntree Gully 14. Sylvan 40 lead at Park Orchards 25. And Surrey Park, the steam train continues. 37 leading the Eastern Lions 9. But as we do every time on the Pie Shed halftime show, every week I should say, it's time to cross the 9 News studios to find out what's happening around the world. And joining us this week is the man himself, Clint Stanaway. Good afternoon to you, Clint.
Ben, doing some sunbaking out there. I hear the sun is shining.
With my colour hair and my skin
with
tone,
your complexion,
definitely not getting any tan of sorts. Unlike a good self, Clint, who I'm sure will tan up very, very nicely indeed. What's happening with some AFL scores around the grounds at the moment?
Well, Richmond have crossed the border and they're doing really well at AAMI Stadium. Port Adelaide look quite flat, actually. Certainly a shadow of the side they were in the opening 5 rounds of the season. Chris Knight's, one of the more bizarre things you'll see on a footy field, he dislocated his knee as he was running into goal. The only bonus, he kicked the goal.
Thanks to 9 News. Of course, you can see 9 News tonight at 6 p.m. with Alicia Loxley and the team. Around the grounds at the moment, I'm just having a look through the Twitter feed at the moment, and Bayswater, well, they've come back a little bit at half-time. North Ringwood 8-10-58, leading Bayswater 4-5-29. So well done there to the Waters. Half-time at Blackburn, Vermont just stamping their authority at the moment. 9-8-62 Vermont, leading Blackburn 2-12-24. And out at East Burwood Reserve, Baldwin really stamping their authority, 9-7-61, leading East Burwood 1-3-9. Out at Mulgrave Reserve, where Riley Beveridge is at the moment, 9-6-60 is Mulgrave. Doncaster East 3-9-27. So we'll keep you up to date with all the scores around the grounds. I think we're getting Braden Ingram up on the line at the moment, who's out at Mulgrave. No, he's not. He's out at the Basin and Mitcham game. I'll just go having a look at some of the other scores at half-time. They're slowly coming in. As I said, Blackburn by 38 points, Baldwin by 52, Norwood by 4 points over Knox, so that's the 14 goals between the two teams already. Waverley Blues lead Donvale by 8 points. But let's cross out to Batterham Reserve, where Braden Ingram is watching what seems like a pretty good encounter between the Basin and Mitcham. How you going, Braden?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Benjamin. Yourself?
Going very well, mate. We're seeing a bit of a blowout here, but what's the game you're seeing at the moment? What's it like, and what's the score at the moment?
It's not a bad game, Ben. It's become a bit of a blowout. It's the Basin 11-6-72, leading Mitcham 6-4-40 at half-time, but a pretty tough contest, and Mitcham probably had the wind in the second quarter, but couldn't take advantage, and Basin won that second quarter pretty strongly.
That's an amazing scoreline because Mitcham going in this game are of course undefeated and arguably hot favourites going in, but who's really stood up for the Bears over the first half to get this lead at the moment? A pretty
Well, yeah, really, it's been the names we expect. Brent Galicio's kicked 3, Cowlishaw 2, Craig Christie and Andy Colt. The one player who I've really enjoyed his first game in seniors, the Basin play for Bayswater last year, Jackson Keane, had plenty of the balls. He's a tiny man, he's smaller than me, he's probably about 165 centimetres, and if you see him, he's a jet, and he's had a very good start to his career with the Basin and the ones.
Great stuff, Braden. So good to hear that South Croydon are out at the moment, but the Dogs certainly not probably happy with their output. Let's take a break here on EFL Game. That's been the Pie Shed show, all thanks to Mark Phelan and the team out at the Pie Shed. We'll come back with third quarter action right after the break here on EFL Game Day.
For the best EFL radio, don't miss Akira EFL Sunday from 10 till 12 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern. Ben Warren Smith and the team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talk to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all senior.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public holidays with a car tag. So, with the money you'll save, you'll have enough.
Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week. And I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them.
Get a race tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots.
Program sponsor.
For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local with your footy.
Barry Cotts, your timing could not have been better because the umpire literally has just thrown the ball up here on EFL Game Day. Brad Henderson, it's 54 points the lead to East Ringwood.
Thanks very much, Ben. Yeah, the second half is underway, and let's hope for South Croydon's sake that it's a far more competitive second half. 54 points down at half time. It would take a miracle from here, but I'm sure that focus is going to be obviously winning this third quarter and just starting to play some same story in the third quarter. East Ringwood take no time at all to get a goal and stretch their lead further. That was all a bit too easy, Ray. That wasn't some good signs showing from the Bulldogs, given the fact it's a new quarter and you'd expect them to come out pretty fired up.
Well, they brought that ball right out of defence then, but when it got to the forward line, it was Farmer that went for the marking contest, but Purdy, he just measured his kick and it was a beautiful kick for goal.
Ray, you were asking me in the break about the Kilsyth South Belgrave score. Kilsyth lead by 22 points at half-time over South Belgrave, so the Cougars have come to play. Good afternoon to Rod Caldwell, who would be listening as well. Umpires pulled out a free kick at centre-half forward here for the Dogs, and the free kick will be going the way of King. This is of the David variety. Beautiful kick in board, and the mark is, yep, most definitely. Allen from 55 out unloads. It'll go a bit short. It's a little right as well. And both teams happy to see it over for a minus score. So South Croydon 2-7-19 trailed East Ringwood 11-12, 78, 59 points is the margin. Here on EFL Game Day on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard in the middle of the third term. And here on EFL Game Day, the accurate one, Brad Henderson.
Thanks, Ben. It's 1 goal 3 now on the board for Blair Allen, so he's been far from accurate. Stevens to his teammate there in Marshall. Marshall's little kick, it was a careful kick and it...
He was very lucky that advantage wasn't paid because Daniel King missed the goal. He should have kicked really.
His brother Zippy would have kicked it.
He certainly would have. Grant Campbell, quickly, some stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap.
Inside 50s, 5-1 in favour of South Croydon this quarter, and they've also had 5 free kicks to 0.
They've had 5-1 inside 50s, but that one's given East Ringwood a goal in their one, so they've certainly been here. They've got to put the board on the score on the board.
Big Jacob Fulton, certainly a very large man, comes in. That's a large kick. That's a large goal as well. Very nicely done, young Jacob Fulton. He kicks the third for South Croydon. 3-8-26 the Dogs. East Ringwood 11-12-78. 4.5 minutes gone here in the third term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. This is EFL Game Day, and this is the Bears.
What actually caused that goal, that turnover from East Ringwood, was them trying to get a little bit too fancy and too cute, lair-rising in the middle of the ground with too many handballs, rather than sticking with the game plan that got them 10 goals up at half-time, the long kick deep into their forward line. That gave South Croydon the opportunity. They were able to turn that ball over and send it forward, and Fulton there with a big strong mark and the long kick at goal. So, I mean, East Ringwood just got to be careful. They don't take their foot off the accelerator, and they stick to their structure and stick to the plan that Bernie Dineen's instituted for this game.
52 points the margin. Much needed goal for South Croydon. Just their third of the day, kicked by Jacob Fulton as Dineen takes a possession, got it to Fayadonis, to McGuinness. McGuinness off a step, thumps it at the goals, and he's just off target. Minor score there. Just that was a good goal there from Jacob Fulton, that last one, Frosty. But generally, I reckon him and Graydon Stevens, the two big guys for the Bulldogs, compared to Andrew Renton for East Ringwood, have been pretty much ineffectual around the ground. They haven't contributed the way that Renton has set up play for the Roos.
No, Renton's been great. He's been able to drop back and be that man filling the hole across that half back, but also drift forward and provide that key marking target when he's needed to. So he's been so much more influential, and they've had the two big guys, Stevens and Fulton, trying to go head-to-head with him, and they just haven't been able to match him.
So out of defence, dangerous kick, got it to Humphrey, short pass to Descent, back to Humphrey, through the middle, Strawn, who's a lovely left foot kick, sways up his options.
Probably been their best player as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Benny. Over the back, Allen. He's probably the other one for the Bulldogs who can really hold his head high. And the Roos managed to...
Del Judas brings it inboard to Osborne at true centre half back. Now goes up towards true centre half forward. King got to wait a long time. Did well on that occasion, David King, but dropped the mark. He almost could have been rewarded for his courage on that occasion. Powell went in, won a hard football. Tries to extract it out from that contest. Molan was able to win it and kick it forward, and it might work out okay in the end for the Dogs, because Mallison has taken the mark 40 metres out, almost directly in front, and can try and put through the Dogs' fourth goal.
That's just the beauty of playing in front then from Robbie Mallison. The quick kick into the forward line. He was in front of his man. The ball dropped short.
Their work. 3 goals, 11 now, 29. East Ringwood 11, 13, 79. Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's an even 50-point margin. About 12 minutes gone in the third quarter.
Perry brings it into Gibson, but Gibson's kick was well off target. He's normally made some good decisions. Oh, well, he's executed well today, Adam Gibson, but that was a little off target on that occasion. So they'll receive the free kick here with the Dogs. It'll be Strawn with his beautiful left foot kick. Chips it over the top. That was a pretty ordinary effort in the end, and Van Ruin takes it and goes straight and long up towards true centre wing position. Thumped away by Del Judas over the boundary line and out of bounds. Grant Campbell, some stats that matter thanks to Choose to Tap.
Contested possessions this quarter, 18-13 in favour of South Croydon. That was an area they lost by 17 in the first half.
I'm just interested to find out, have you got a stat on tackles there? Just so East Ringwood's tackling pressure's dropped off a little bit in the second half.
They've only had 3 effective tackles this quarter, East Ringwood.
Ball back in here, McGuinness takes the mark though off for South Croydon kick. He's right in front of us here, true centre wing position. Spears the ball up towards half forward, over the head of Farmer. Pounced upon by Demetrio. Beautiful little underground hand pass on that occasion. Ends up with Farmer from the boundary. Tries to spear it towards the hot spot. Opportunity here for the Roos. Beautiful little hand pass. Ends up with Farmer, who kept on running, but was just off to the left-hand side. That would have been a contender for the EFL TV Player of the Week, Peter Baird, but it's off to the minus side. So East Ringwood 11-14-80. Lead South Croydon 3-11-29. 12 minutes gone here in the third term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. This is EFL Game Day on 98.1 FM and EFL.org.au. Just some scores around the grounds. We'll bring them to you right now. In Division 2, Waverley Blues, they lead Donvale 27-19. Montrose lead Croydon only by 15 points, and Upper Gully by 22. Trail Mooroolbark by 22, I should say.
I don't think Bernie Dineen will be very happy with East Ringwood's quarter, this third quarter. To me, they've taken their foot off the pedal. Okay, South Croydon, their intensity has lifted, but East Ringwood, they've certainly lifted the foot off the pedal.
I think you're right there. I think their work rate and their tackling pressures dropped right off the mark of what they showed in that first half.
Millard won the tap down. King takes possession, off to Strawn. Had his kick smothered. Field puts his body over it. Did he get a push in the back? The umpire said no. And we'll throw it up.
Hasn't there been some great smothers today, boys? You know, it's been terrific.
It's been a feature of the game, especially from the Roos. There's the quick kick up towards the wing position. Nicely taken by Molnar, who hasn't stopped trying. Strawn to Coughlin. Coughlin's long kick. Big fly came from Allen. Couldn't drag the mark down. Laha out of defence. Kick to a 2-on-1 over the back. Hoare takes possession. Well played, Aaron Hoare. Lovely pass. Gave Purdy every chance. Hit him on the chest and really should have marked it. Farmer got it to Matthews. McGuinness had Field in support. Field was the one who took possession. Concedes a lot of ground with the kick. Looking for Gibson. Ball doesn't sit favourably for Adam Gibson. He takes on his opponent there in Troutman and concedes a free kick. And he's having a bit of a nightmare third quarter, Adam Gibson. Turned it over a couple of times. Was excellent in the first half. The Roos get the ball back though. Demetrio's kick. Lovely pass. And he hits Cam.
Here's Bernie Deneen. Oh, we'll love this goal, Bernie Deneen. From 55 metres out, the coach salutes! Bernie Deneen kicks the goal. And East Ringwood move on to 12-15-87. South Croydon 3-11-29. 16 minutes gone, third term here on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
No problem there with any distance in those legs there, Ray Baird, from the kick from Bernie Deneen.
No, look, that was great play by East Ringwood. They got the ball on the last line of defence. They ran it around the outer wing. Bernie Deneen come through the not the centre of the ground, but the corner of the square. And look, he had options, but no, Bernie, he knew what he was doing and straight through the middle.
Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose, taps some stats that matter in this third term.
Yeah, it's this quarter, 7-3 in favour of East Ringwood, although South Croydon doing well in the clearances, winning that 7-4.
58 points, the margin out of the middle. Cherney sends it forward for the Roos, thumping kick, and it just drifts off across the face for a minor score there to Chris Cherney. And East Ringwood just kicking into another gear in the last few minutes.
Maybe they heard what we said, Brad, about being complacent, because they certainly have lifted in the last couple of minutes.
Seems that way as Osborne brings the ball back in. Short pass to Marshall. Kick there, but back to Osborne. Dangerous kick. Thumped out of the contest. Was pretty well done then for East Ringwood. And Frosty, what are you seeing as we tick over to 18 minutes gone in this third quarter?
I think a lot of that intensity increase from East Ringwood in the last few minutes has been really brought about by Bernie Deneen going into the middle to try and stop that rot there of South East Ringwood just taking their foot off the pedal.
Handball was into open space. Osborne throws it on the boot, bounces the kick forward. Taking possession now, Mallison. Lovely pass. Good footy there from Robbie Mallison. And he honoured the long lead there, charging forward from Crowell. So James Crowell hasn't added to his 8 goals for the season so far today. He's generally a pretty good kick at goal. This will test him. He'll kick from about 40 metres out. No real angle to speak of. And he hangs it out to the left. So minor score as South Croydon continue to waste opportunities. 3 goals, 12-30 to East Ringwood. 12 goals, 16-88. It's still a 58-point margin. So really South Croydon haven't gained any ground in this third quarter. The margin at halftime was 54 points. And it's 58 now as Sharp brings the ball back into Cherney, Ray.
Yeah, look, at South Croydon, they've kicked 1 goal, 6 for the quarter, Brad. They've had their opportunities, but they haven't hit the board.
No.
So the Roos will look to bring it off around half back towards true centering position now. Ball will favour the Dogs as well. Picked up by Descent. Brings it inboard as well to David King. This has worked nicely. Kick inside 50 towards a wall of East Ringwood. Crowd from behind. Almost took the mark. McIntosh at the back mops up. Perry chips it over the top to Jesse Field, I should say. He's right on his defensive 50. towards True Centre wing. Farmer presents, tries to use the take it on the chest, but used his body well on that occasion, did Mitch Farmer. Brings it in board, looking for the lead of Ward. Didn't get a accommodating bounce. Ball comes back.
Fields kicked, looking for Purdy. Bulldog defence worked well together then. Marshall got it out to Osborne. Kick into open space, finds Cox, who's been very quiet today, Liam Cox. Perry should get to the footy first for East Ringwood, does so on the wing position. Little handball over the top to Cherney. Cherney runs his full measure now. Thumps it forward. Farmer at the back, a great mark. And he just floated in from the side, glided in almost. And
Farmer today really presents well, flies, jumps high, strong hands in a marking contest, continues to present. Really like his game, but I also really like the game of Joel Perry across half-back, just able to zone off and create that space.
So Mitch Farmer, confident looking kick, it looked nice off the boot and makes no mistake. Not much reaction from the crowd who weren't too sure, but it has gone through for a major, and 3 goals for the day now for Mitch Farmer, who takes his season tally to 7 goals. And East Ringwood just continue to build this lead, and percentage, it's going to be handy. That's what they'd be thinking of now, I guess, because with that glut of teams competing for what we think will be 5th position at the end of the year, I reckon the top 4 is probably a lock, but that 5th position on the ladder is going to be up for grabs, and it could well come down to percentage, so every goal counts here for East Ringwood.
Is that 3 or 4 today for Farmer?
And Campbell, King of the Daniel variety, will take the advantage as no one was on the mark. Spears it towards the pocket. It's a good kick. Almost finding that man in Farrell in the left forward pocket, but he couldn't quite take the ball cleanly, and he fumbles it over the boundary line and out of bounds. In Division 4, Sylvan lead Park Orchards by 9 points, and Surrey Park only lead the Eastern Lions by 14 points. We'll bring you up to date with all the scores around the grounds very shortly. Beautiful hand pass from the Roos, sets up Darcy Powell at half-back. Kicks up towards Millard. Strong juggling mark taken right in front of us here on True Centre wing broadcast position. Millard spears it up towards Van Ruin. Not a tall man, Van Ruin. Had to do some work. Farmer's in the right forward pocket. He can't kick a goal from there. He doesn't actually. He kicks it out of bounds on the fall. So free kick will go the way of the Dogs. Kilsyth lead South Belgrave by 22 points at half-time. Coldstream lead Canterbury by 48 points. And Ferntree Gully, a great second quarter comeback by them. They lead Forest Hill by 14 points. Dogs have the ball back in the middle here at East Ringwood Reserve. Running hard on the outer side here is Farrell. Goes up towards Allen, who has not stopped presenting all day, trying really hard. But he's had tough opposition from Aaron Hall, who fists it over the boundary line and out of bounds. Hope you're enjoying the call here on EFL Game Day. East Ringwood 14-16-100. South Croydon 3-12-30 here on EFL Game Day. It's Brad Henderson.
70 points the margin still. Big Fulton competing in the ruck. Powell taken to ground there by King and was going nowhere. Umpire to throw it up once more. Very wasteful in this quarter, South Croydon. They've kicked 1 goal, 6 for the term. Millard seemed to get a poke in the eye. Quick kick around the corner there by Molnar. Molnar belts it forward. High tackle on Cox perhaps by Gibson. No, the umpire said that was fair enough. I think he tried to duck into it and draw the free. Umpire wasn't falling for that. So it'll be thrown back into play. It's a bit of a lull, just settles over East Ringwood Reserve.
Pleasant lull.
It is. It is a pleasant lull. It's been a very pleasant day.
It has.
And what an enjoyable day for the East Ringwood fans, who haven't had much to cheer about so far this year, or this season before today, as Allen puts the kick out of bounds on the full. And the free kick to be taken right in, deep in the back pocket there by Farmer. Sorry, McIntosh I should say. McIntosh. Thumping kick. On that outer side. Strong tackle applied.
That's definitely been East Ringwood's strength today. The way they've tackled, Brad, they really attacked the guy with the football.
Yeah, it's been terrific for 3 quarters from them. As the kick comes forward, Ward takes possession. Come back to that in a minute, Ray. Got a bit of a thought on that as Sharp sends it forward. And a great mark taken by Purdy. He's looked pretty impressive today, Cam Purdy. He's kicked 3 goals, 1 in each quarter. Has a chance for his 4th here. I reckon today, Ray, East Ringwood have been right into the tackling, whereas South Croydon they hang around the ball carrier, but they don't really go at the ball carrier. They don't force the tackle. And
yeah, I agree with that. And they've been very wary of the East Ringwood tackler.
So Purdy kicks his 4th goal. He's had a real day out, and he's kicked his 2nd of the quarter. East Ringwood now lead by 7.
Beautifully, he's kicked 5, and East Ringwood have kicked 16. And 16 behind. 16, 16, 112 to South Croydon, 3, 12, 30. For all those mathematicians out there, it's 82 points here at East Ringwood Reserve on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
We spoke pre-game about how important it was for guys like Matty Sharp and Tony Van Rooyen to get involved through the midfield and really take the onus on board today as more experienced players in this very young East Ringwood side. And they've been fantastic and really leading the way with their hardness and toughness at the contest. Them along with Bernie Deneen and McGuinness, they've been fantastic going through that midfield today for the Roos.
Millard now competing in the ruck, won the tap down to Molnar, took it, and then Strawn for South Croydon. Ball on the deck, handball was shot out to Troutman, to Coughlin. High handball intended there for Debney. First time I reckon we've seen Will Debney today, or certainly the first time I've called him. He kicked 5, I think, in round 1.
Yeah, he's been playing down in defence, I think, today. Let's cross boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Boys, I mentioned earlier in this term that Jaden Batterglen had problems with his left hamstring. He's currently warming up on the bench, but it'll be interesting to see if he comes back on the field or if they leave him off as a precaution, given that the result is already in their keeping.
Certainly is, Damien, as the siren sounds to end the 3rd quarter. And it is an 82-point lead for East Ringwood. 16 goals, 16, 112. South Croydon 3-12 on the 3-12-30 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. In that quarter, the Roos kicked 6 goals, 4 to South Croydon's 1 goal, 6, Frosty.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to hear what the boundary riders have got to say at 3/4 time, whether Bernie Deneen's message was really about taking that foot off the pedal for the first half of that 3rd quarter, because when he went into the middle, it really ignited them and got them focused back on the job at hand, and that was really critically important. And maybe if they have a chat to Bernie, just ask him that same question.
Look, when Bernie goes into the middle, it's not that he gets the ball so often. I like the bullocking work and the shepherding and the little 1%ers that he does to protect the guy who has got the ball.
The Roos have been ruthless at East Ringwood Reserve today. They lead by 82 points. We'll come back with 4th quarter action and as many around the ground scores as we possibly can right after the break here on EFL Game Day.
Had an accident on the field? Head straight to Ikira Urgent Care for immediate medical treatment, and you won't have to wait. For a maximum of $75, we'll treat your broken bones, sprains, strains, cuts, or Baronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Ikira Urgent Care. We have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
For all things EFL, The Huddle.
Good evening, Eastern Football League lovers. One of the punishments is you've got to get a spray tan the Friday night before a game.
Oh, nice.
Wash all the jumpers. And of course, he is Glenn Harcher, and welcome to the program tonight. G'day, Glenn.
G'day, guys. How you going?
If it was up to Dino, he's winning the league B&F, our B&F.
How much longer we've got to see Stewie Wine going around in the Eastern Football League?
Probably about 1/4.
6 p.m. every Wednesday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
Radio Eastern 98.1, Barry Cox back here in the studio. It's coming up to 4 o'clock and a very glorious 24 degrees in Melbourne's outer east. The last quarter of East Ringwood and South Croydon. In just a moment, it's time to check some AFL scores. And the game over at Amy Stadium, well, it's all been the Tigers this afternoon over there. And at the end of the 3rd quarter, it was Richmond 15-6-96, leading Port Adelaide 6-10-46. So a big 50-point lead to the Tigers at 3/4 time. Major goal kickers for Richmond, Rewald 4 and 2 each to Grigg and King, and 3 and 1 each to Gray and Monfries. And they've just started the last quarter. That's coming up to about the 5-minute mark, and it's Richmond 15-6-96 leading Port Adelaide 9-11-65. And the other games up at the Gab this afternoon in Brisbane and the West Coast Eagles. It's been nip and tuck all day, and currently it's a 17-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. 9:51, so West Coast Eagles kicked a couple of goals in that.
And special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and under-19s matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98. 1 Radio Eastern. For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
It's East Ringwood by 82 points here at East Ringwood Reserve. Let's cross down boundary side straight away to Andy Paolici, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Hi, yeah, we're here with Damien Franken, and Damien, so far, I mean, it's been a below par performance today. What do you put it down to? East Ringwood's willingness to work, or down to your own performance?
Oh, a bit of both, I think. Look, you can see by the score, they've had 32 scoring shots to our 15, so yeah, they've just been a lot more positive with the footy and a lot cleaner with the footy as well. And look, that quarter I thought we improved a little bit. We had more inside 50s than them and won the clearances, but just didn't show on the scoreboard.
Definitely. And what positives can you take from today? I mean, as you said, you had a great third quarter, or a better third quarter, but what positives can you take, from what has been, again, a below performance today?
Look, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm having a lot of difficulty thinking of positives at this stage. 82 points down, it's three-quarter time, so hopefully we can a better quarter and win the quarter. That's the challenge I've asked for this quarter, is to win the quarter.
And that was what I was going to as well. I mean, how do you approach it? Do you look to the positives, or for next week, or do you want them to run out this quarter in the best possible fashion that they can do?
Yeah, look, run out the quarter. I've just asked them to play positive footy, and we're going to really take the game on, and hopefully we can get on our terms a bit more. And next week, I haven't even thought about that yet, but yeah.
Fair enough. Well, Damien, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Great work there, Andy Paolici, with Damien Franken. Great of Damien to give up his time in such a in what has probably been a below par performance. We'll cross down now to Damien Watson, thanks to Akira Urgent Care, who was in the East Ringwood huddle at three-quarter time.
Indeed I was, Benny, and Coach Bernie Deneen asserted that his charges must maintain their level of intensity and supreme work ethic, I should say, in that final term. Lift the endeavour for the contested football, he said, which dropped in the third quarter, and Deneen also praised his players for their run and carry and proclaimed that his teammates should grind the opposition into the dirt.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Damien Watson, thanks to Akira Urgent Care. It's the Roos by 82 points on EFL Game Day. Here's Brad Henderson.
Thank you very much, Ben, as the final quarter does get underway, and it will start off with a free kick going the way of the Roos to Van Ruin. Tony Van Ruin's handball to Blahar, thumps it forward, long kick to the pocket, almost marked there by Farmer. Mitch Farmer just couldn't quite drag the mark in, but it's in a dangerous spot nevertheless, with East Ringwood deep in their forward line.
How have you seen his game, Mitch Farmer? I think he's been very impressive,
yeah,
Brad.
Really good.
Yeah, exciting, and he's definitely a talent that is sharp, hunting down the footy. Molnar for South Croydon, gave it to Stevens. Strawn belts the kick forward. Little handball. This is promising from the Bulldogs. Strawn's lovely kick. It was a beautiful pass, and the Bulldogs, they said they're going to play some positive football in this last quarter. Allen.
Dirty in the packs, but can break from a contest as well. He's an up-and-coming star of this East Ringwood side, and I've really liked the way that
EFL commercial manager Mark Freeman during the week. Just some around-the-ground scores. Vermont by 30 points over Blackburn. And the big surprise I can see at the moment, Churnside Park are within 4 points of Doncaster at the moment, with a few minutes remaining in the third term. Of course, we're in front, I think, by a good almost a quarter of a quarter in a way. So we'll be monitoring that game with plenty of interest. In the meantime, the ball's gone over the boundary line and out of bounds in the South Croydon left forward pocket. They're kicking towards the Mount Dandenong Road side of things. Bernie Deneen went up in the ruck on that occasion. Beautifully tapped it down as well to Joel Perry, who has been rock solid as always down back today. Speaking of rock solid, so is this man. Gibson runs along the outer wing of East Ringwood Reserve up towards Farmer at half forward. He was held without the football. He'll receive a free kick right on the edge of the 50-metre arc. He's got players running back now, but knowing Mitch Farmer and the day out he's had today, he's already kicked 3. I'm sure he'd want to try and make that 4 goals. Not much breeze to work with. It's been a bit of a... He'll kick from right on 55. In the fluoro yellow boots, Mitch Farmer looks pretty good off the boot, right to the line! And Mitch Farmer kicks his 4th goal And East Ringwood now lead this one by 94 points, 18-16, 124 to South Croydon, 3-12-30. I can't believe this margin, Peter.
Saw him have not a shot, but he took a mark from a similar position down this end of the ground and was very keen to pass off the ball on that occasion. This time it looks like he's going to go back and back himself in. I'm sure he'd love a goal in this very heavy defeat of the opposition. Oh, gee, made the distance easy.
Oh, look at him.
Leaned back on it. And Scott Demetrio has put a bit of sugar on top of the cake with that goal. That takes the margin to 100 points. And gee, there's a bit of satisfaction in that to be the one who stretches the margin out to that 100-point deficit.
Grant Campbell, some stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap.
In the second half, South Croydon have actually won the inside 50s 21-17, yet East Ringwood's kicked 9 goals to 1, and indicative of the fact that South Croydon are wasting the ball. The intercept marks in the second half are 6-0 in favour of East Ringwood.
Great work, Grant Campbell. Speaking of big goals, Tommy Hill from North Ringwood has got 8 today. He's kicked 8 goals late in the third term, and North Ringwood are leading by 52 points. So we'll watch to see if he's the first man to bring up over 10 goals in senior EFL footy this year. As the Dogs move it forward now, David King spears the ball inside 50. Was Crowell interfered with? He was. Umpires pulled out a free kick, and James Crowell will go back almost directly in front and look to put through, amazingly, his first goal for the day. In other scores, Kilsyth and South Belgrave might be going down to the wire. The Cougars are doing nicely. They lead by 16 points.
Al on the wing as gets a bit blustery here at East Ringwood. Windy. Powell's long kick. Nicely working back then was Marshall. Dylan Marshall. Short pass is on to Cox. Out of defence now, King. Thumping kick. Out into the path of Crowell. Don't think the ball will sit for him. No, it doesn't. And over the boundary line. Going to be a bit annoyed next week, Frosty, if after what we've seen from East Ringwood today, if I hear that they've lost by 40 points or something next week. They play Rowville. But, you know, like we're watching them today, they look like a super footy team, but they've got to obviously battle you.
Yeah, the way they go forward and the way they're able to hit up a target.
So the shot at goal by Ward. Hasn't kicked one so far. Oh, sorry, he has kicked one. Kicked one in the first quarter. This time he's off target, minus score. And East Ringwood lead by 95 points. I'm sure they'd love to get the margin back beyond 100 points once again on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Oh, you're just a harsh man, Brad Henderson, as the Dogs bring it in. Strawn takes the mark. Truce and a half back. He goes inboard to David King. He's got players running for him now. Molnar chips it out wide. He's found Grattan Stevens. He's just starting to get his hands on the footy a little bit too late, though, as Daniel King goes up towards half-forward mark, taken here by Ferraccio. His ball...
He's turning the ball over. This is Mallison. Races forward. Mallison tumbles the kick towards Crowell. James Crack has continued to battle hard. It's had a good battle with McIntosh today. Crowell's kick out of bounds on the full. And a free kick to go to Gibson in the back pocket for East Ringwood. 96 points margin. Adam Gibson, very short, dangerous kick was intended for Cherney. McGuinness shows his class, although I think he stubbed his toe as he tried to kick the footy that time. And in the end, pretty content to rush it through for a minor score. Some panic stations there from Andrew McGuinness, a rare blemish on an otherwise...
close to faultless.
Unblemished game, yeah, exactly. Faultless game from him today. 97 points the margin.
Roos to bring it in. So kick from Perry was pinpoint to McIntosh. Those two work very nicely down back, McIntosh and Perry. They're a nice little fullbacks and half-back combination. McIntosh, a long true centre wing position. Deneen and Battagleen from the side. Stevens takes the mark. Just starting to get his hands on the football in this final term. The kick in board is dangerous, very dangerous. Sharp takes it, missed Gibson with a handball though, might work it okay. Daniel King's little hand pass short. Crowell try to find a player at true centre half for Deneen, just comes through, commands some authority, does Burney, and he gets a hand pass back to McIntosh. Deneen receives again on the left foot, classy kick inboard, finds Millard, got McGuinness running here, a true centre half back, inboard, was looking for Gibson, over his head, picked up by this dog skipper and Daniel King, up forward now towards the lead of Crowell.
Big grab and Stevens sticks, goes up for the ruck contest and wins it down, but Deneen took the footy. This is Hoare, got it to Ward, Deneen.
Oh,
Bernie Deneen's kick, not sure. Well, worked out okay in the end to Field. Field's little handball to Perry. This is Van Ruin. Great pick up by Tony Van Ruin. Gathered it in beautifully. Demetrio launches a long bomb to full forward. They compete about 10 metres out. Strong tackle applied. King for the Bulldogs takes possession to Troutman. Dylan Troutman's handball over the top.
No one to kick
out of defence now. The kick was, as you called it, Bernie, it's all East Ringwood. Gibson just chisels the pass then to Van Ruin. Van Ruin
had a troop of Roos there lining up in the centre of the ground.
Perry back to Field. Jesse Field had his kick smothered. Stevens, little handball over the top. And the Bulldogs.
And thanks to Kira Urgent Care.
Jaden Battaglen of East Ringwood has come off again limping, experiencing soreness in his left leg. It doesn't look significant, but I think they'll keep him off as a precaution for the rest of the match. Thanks
very much to Damien Watson and Andy Palarchi, who've done some great job around on the boundary today. The girls, Georgina and Victoria, have been doing a great job around the grounds today. Wanturna South are thumping the Jets at the moment. They lead by 87 points. Ball back in the middle. South Croydon have got the footy on the outer side. Strawn brings it inboard. Mark taking it. Tippy toes by Troutman. Gets a hand pass off and they go up towards true forward position. Cox got a good ball here. High kick towards the goal square. Might bounce through in the end. Allen did give away a free kick. Troutman was tackled but was able to get a high kick towards full forward position. Crowell's there. He's 3-on-1. He was held without the footy. In fact, it was Allen in the end. Advantage will be paid. And Troutman runs into the open goal and kicks another for the Dogs. So South Croydon go on to 7-13-55. Just easing the margin back here. East Ringwood 20 goals, 18, 138 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Thank you.
Consolation goal then from for the South Croydon team. They were outnumbered then, the East Ringwood defenders. They gave away the free kick. He runs into an open goal there, but I mean they've battled on hard. They've worked hard to try and keep the intensity up. Damien Franken might be a little bit happy with that, but at the end of the day, not good.
Game between South Belgrave and Kilsyth is a beauty. Kilsyth have been overtaken. The Saints now lead by 2 fourth term. So the Saints have kicked the last 3 games thanks to Will Taylor out there at Pink's Reserve. That sounds like a ripper. Here at East Ringwood, James Crowell going for goal number 2. Kick on its way, looks a little off to the near side and it goes through for a minor score. South Croydon 7-14-56, East Ringwood 21-18, 144. Plenty of celebrations, I'm sure, for the Roos tonight, Brad Henderson.
Absolutely, their first win of the season. Well then, and in the end a ball up top of the square here for East Ringwood. And players like Deneen and Fayadonis as well be close to being in the votes. Van Ruin. There's the kick which is marked by Gibson.
What about this guy?
Yeah, he's in my votes.
Yep.
He's definitely he's a lock for mine.
Yep.
He's not on the fringes. Laha got it to McIntosh. McIntosh races in and kicks another great goal. And listen to the roar of approval from the East Ringwood faithful. They're very happy as the Roos put yet another goal on the board. 22 goals, 18, 150. That's nice. Has a nice ring to it when you bring up the 150 and raise the bat for that.
Yes.
South Croydon 7-14-56. The margin back out to 94 points.
And look, that goal there, that's been the story of the day. Every time that East Ringwood has gone inboard, they've hit their targets and the player who's accepted the ball's been able to run on, whereas South Croydon, when they've gone inboard, they've given the ball too much air and the defenders have come over and they've wasted the effort.
Ball back in the middle, not too far away from the final siren. Stick around because we'll have plenty of interviews and all the around the ground the scores after the final siren as Blaha brings it out wide to Demetrio, who threw it to Van Ruin. High kick up towards Truce in a half forward position. South Croydon have the numbers at the fall of the ball. Putting his head over on that occasion was Cox, but East Ringwood have the numbers at the fall of the ball. Faye Donis just walks through a whole heap of players. Nice. He's got Van Ruin out wide, who takes the mark. Too far out to score, I think. He's about 55 metres out, about a 60-degree angle. So we'll see what he does on this occasion. South Croydon got plenty of numbers back. So Van Ruin, classy player, loves his football club, and the football club loves him. From 60 metres out on the siren, falls short, but it is a huge 94-point win to East Ringwood, 22-18, 150. I don't know how many times Ray Bear would have scored that in his cricket career. South Croydon, 7 goals, 14, 56. A 94-point win to South Croydon, Ringwood. Goal kickers for the Roos, 6 to Purdy, 4 goals to Farmer, 3 to Battagleen, 1 to McIntosh, to Zach Ward, 2 to McGuinness. I missed out him. Renton 1, Fayadonis 1, Demetrio 1, Bernie Deneen 1. That's not a bad looking scoreline.
Win of the season in 2013. Is it a sense of ecstasy or relief that you're feeling right now?
Oh no, look, it's definitely ecstasy and satisfaction. I mean, to see the guys go out and implement what we've been working on all pre-season. It's fantastic. We really enjoyed it, and the boys deserved it. And you know, South Croydon certainly kept at it, but I just thought our guys were fantastic today. So very excited about the win.
A key facet of your victory today was the relentless tackling and forward pressure throughout the afternoon. Was that something you focused on immensely in your preparation?
Yeah, look, it's been something we've spoken about for most of the pre-season, so we're certainly key today, and I was glad that we could deliver it.
We'll leave it there, boys, because Bernie's got to get to a presentation. Thanks, Bernie. Good on you, mate.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for the support.
That's all right. No worries. Well, Jeff Pizzaglo's got the microphone at the moment. Who is about to give out the Glen Mason Shield. All thanks to Bendigo Bank. Bruce, we're going to get this audio up. Let's see if we can pick this up.
Before we present the shield, I'd just like to introduce Neil Harwood, who is a great friend of Kevin Murray. Kevin Murray, you may remember, was our lunch last year. We've been unable to make it this year, but we've struck a medal called the Kevin Murray Medal, which is to be presented to the best player afield for the day. And the commentators team up there, the EFL, Eastern EFM boys.
Thanks for the plug, Jeff.
The winner is Joel Perry.
Got 7 votes from us. Joel Perry 7 votes, Andrew McGuinness 6, Gibson 5, and 1 each to Sharp, Farmer, and Birdie.
I'd like to introduce Ray Norton and Sheree Foster from the Bendigo Bank, who sponsor this shield. South Croydon boys for the game. I think you've been up this the last couple of times, so we're pretty keen to get it back. It's just our day. I think a lot of things have been well for us. We're keeping your heads up and keep working hard. Please be there for you. So good luck. And to right across all 13 to make the shield for this day.
So Bernie Deneen collecting the Glen Mason Shield from Ray Tonneson of the Bendigo Bank.
I'm sure that will be good use.
Yep. Here's Bernie.
Yeah, first of all, thanks to the South Croydon guys on playing against them by 13 in those last 5 years. Putting up on the men and respect for all. You're going to come out here and have a real crack and certainly give that today. I know that our guys Ron and really set us up to get something there. It's years more, I thought we wanted to do for you. Just our day came together, but stay in and continue your work. Thanks for coming out and really appreciate your effort today. For our guys, we've been speaking about this for a while, that's really working the wall. I certainly appreciate what you're doing for everyone, but we're really happy to see you just play one quarter at a time and that's just out. I thought you guys were great. You've been working really hard up the pre-season over the last 5 weeks and it's started to turn around and get the 3 wins today. It was really special and to get this, first of all, thanks to the family for presenting it and it's been part of the great tradition we continue to be done.
There we have it, that's Bernie Deneen, and that's the end of the formal presentations, beautifully organised by President Jeff Bazuglo, as Bernie Deneen collecting the Glen Mason Shield, all thanks to Ray Tonneson and the team at the Bendigo Bank Ringwood East branch. And the best player on the ground, as voted by the EFL Media Team, went to Joel Perry, the Frank Murray medal. Well done to Joel, who was very solid across half-back today. Andrew McGuinness, as I said, with 6 votes, and Adam Gibson with 5. Let's cross to Grant Campbell, who has had his eye across the entire day today, having a look at all things stats-wise, all thanks to Yarra Valley Water, Be Smart, Choose Tap, Soupy.
Some of the key stats for the match: the kicks, East Ringwood 212 to 155. In the first half, they're even more dominant, winning that 108 to 63, so they had 45 more kicks in the first half. The handballs for the day, South Croydon actually won 137 to 131. But when you look at the kick to handball ratio, probably suggests South Croydon sort of over handball throughout the day. The contested possessions, East Ringwood won 139 to 121. East Ringwood won the uncontested possessions 205 to 168. Probably the key stat was the marks inside 50, East Ringwood having 16 to South Croydon 6. And also the forward 50 tackles, 8 to 2 in favour of East Ringwood. So certainly you could say quite a resounding victory, not only on the scoreboard but on the stats sheet for East Ringwood.
Yeah, he's been all over it today, Grant Campbell, thanks to Yarra Valley Water, Be Smart, Choose Tap, if you're just tuning in. And picking up 98.1 FM, it's been East Ringwood 20 goals, 22-18, 150, defeating South Croydon 7-14, 56. Let's head downstairs to hear the song. And Water currently at the moment trail by 21 points, I should say, with 23 minutes gone. So well under the Waters, keeping in touch. Final score out at Balwyn. Balwyn 18-16, 124, defeating East Burwood 5-8-38. But they're pretty sporadic at the moment, all the scores coming through. So in about 10 minutes' time, we'll have them all tweeted and nicely formatted so we can bring them to you. Ringwood, a big win over Warrandyte today, 141, defeating Warrandyte 82. Peter Baird and Ray Baird were in the special comments chair today, having a look at all things East Ringwood and South Croydon. What do you take out of it for South Croydon? Is there any positives at all that you can find in this win? Loss, I should say. Frosty.
There's always positives you can take out of any game. There's players that really tried hard, battled on. Crowell up forward, he worked hard for them. Strawn was okay. The positive is they didn't really fire a shot. If they played their best footy and were beaten like as comprehensively as by East Ringwood today as what they were, then you'd be really worried. But they didn't show a work ethic, so there's a real big area to improve. So there's plenty of things Damien Franklin could have picked up and said to them, look, if we're not prepared to work hard, this is what's going to happen. So, I mean, there's lots of things there, and it's going to be clearly evident as to the things they need to work on to get better. So, I mean, they're the positives that I would take out of it. I mean, some of the younger guys coming through looked okay. At times they battled on hard. They didn't drop their heads and really let East Ringwood run all over them. East Ringwood got it out to a triple-figure margin. They battled on, reduced that back. Another goal late to East Ringwood, brought it back to 94 points. But I don't know. I mean, there's plenty to work on still from Damien Franklin, I think.
Ray, how would you say? Entered really, really hard. So there's some signs up forward, but they were just pretty comprehensively beaten through the midfield. A little bit too much class, I think, through the midfield today. I think.
Well, I think that, I mean, I don't know. I gotta say, like, there's times in that last quarter where we said, you know, credit to South Croydon, they're still having a dip. It's like, well, so they should be having a dip. Like, there was a lack of work rate and a lack of effort for the first half or first 3 quarters. Like, you know, they're not playing Vermont or Noble Park here today. They're playing East Ringwood, a side that they should be.
Side that haven't won a game yet this year.
Exactly, and I think Damien Franklin at 3/4 time, when he was asked a question by Andy, you know, it was pretty obvious that he really couldn't, off the top of his head, think of a positive. And I'm sure, you know, in the next couple of days he may come up with something. But I think it's one of those games you just got to forget about. And other than the fact that they need to, like, it was a good point you said, if they don't come to play, they don't come ready with a big appetite for the work, that's what's going to happen. They're going to get blown off the park. And because the Bulldogs, as long as I've watched South Croydon play, that's always been their hallmark, is their work rate. And they like getting their hands dirty. Didn't see it today.
Boundary. The other thing as well, the real concern for me, even looking at East Ringwood, and something that Bernie Deneen has to be aware of, that for them to be able to set the tone and go into a game today really with that endeavour and willingness to tackle, work hard, but other weeks not bring that to play, is that something that Bernie really needs to try and drum into his team, mate, that when we do this, we can play our best footy?
Could be. We'll cross down the boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Damien Watson, we think, has a successful player.
Thank you very much, Benny. I do. I have Joel Perry with me. Joel, you were steadfast in defence today and you were awarded the Frank Murray Medal.
AMAC and I just been working together. He's probably a little bit shorter for the players that he plays against, but we've just been trying to work with him and with his consistency and his attitude, and he's been fantastic.